My name is Marina Hale, and on the night of my dad's birthday, I learned exactly where I stood in my own family on the ground, literally. The backyard was full of people, neighbors, co-workers, relatives I barely recognized. String lights glowed above us. Music played softly, and for a moment I almost felt normal. I held my crutch against my side, careful with each step, trying not to draw attention. I didn't want pity. I just wanted to celebrate my dad. But then I heard her laugh. Kendra, my sister, the one person who had never once shown me compassion since the accident. She walked toward me with that sharp smile she saved for moments when she wanted to hurt me without looking like she meant to. I tried to step back, but the grass dipped under my foot. Before I could steady myself, her hand shot out fast, deliberate, and she snatched my crutch right out of my grip. "Stop faking it!" she shouted, her voice slicing through the music. "You're not injured. You're just leeching sympathy." Everything froze. Dozens of eyes turned toward us. Someone actually laughed. Another person lifted their phone recording. And I left without support, felt my body tilt, then slam against the concrete patio. A shock of pain shot up my spine, but the humiliation hit harder. I looked up from the ground and searched for my parents. Dad's face tightened, but he didn't move. Mom looked away, pretending she didn't see a thing. No one offered me a hand. No one shielded me. No one said a word. My sister stood over me, still holding the crutch, breathing hard like she had finally proven something. And that was the exact moment I understood. If I wanted to stand again, I would have to do it without any of them. The morning after the party, every muscle in my back throbbed, but the heaviness in my chest hurt more. I woke replaying the moment I hit the concrete, the laughter, the phones recording my parents standing still like I was an inconvenience. Humiliation burned worse than the injury that put me on a crutch in the first place. My phone buzzed. "Mom, hope you're feeling better. Let's not make last night bigger than it was. Bigger than it was, as if being knocked down and called a fraud in front of 20 people was minor. As if her silence wasn't a choice." I didn't reply. I pushed myself up, feeling the familiar strain in my spine. My crutch leaned against the nightstand, scuffed from when Kendra yanked it away. I traced the scratches, anger and sadness mixing in my throat. Kendra hadn't apologized. Hadn't called. Typical. Growing up, she always needed the spotlight, even if it meant dimming me. After my accident, all the appointments and slow recovery annoyed her more than they concerned her. But last night, publicly humiliating me, crossed a line I never thought she'd cross. I limped to the kitchen. Eli, who had insisted on driving me home, sat up on the couch. "Hey," he asked gently. "How's the pain?" "It's fine." I lied. He watched me carefully. "You know what happened wasn't your fault, right?" I gripped the counter, throat tight. "It doesn't matter. No one cared." "Maybe not last night," he said. "But that doesn't make the truth any less true." I wanted to believe him, but all I could feel was the sting of lying on cold concrete surrounded by people who chose to watch instead of help. By late afternoon, the bruises on my hip had deepened into dark purple shadows. I kept touching them unconsciously, as if my fingers could explain what my mind still couldn't. Physical pain is straightforward. Emotional pain is the one that blindsides you. I went to my parents' house to pick up a jacket I'd left. I told myself it wasn't about confrontation, just retrieval. But as soon as I stepped onto the porch, I heard voices inside. Kendra's voice. Sharp. Confident. "She's been milking this injury for months. You saw how fast she grabbed the counter. She can move when she wants to." My stomach twisted. Mom added, irritated. "You shouldn't have pulled the crutch, but Marina always overreacts. We need to keep things peaceful." Peaceful, their code for pretend nothing happened. Dad chimed in softly. Those at the door listened to the reverberated version of the incident where I was the problem not falling off because they pulled the door. No apology, no meaning. As I turned to leave, whipped away the thing keeping me upright. She scoffed. "Your doctor says you're improving. You're basically fine." Something in me snapped quietly like a thread breaking after too much strain. "You want the truth about my mobility?" I said. "Fine. I'll get it. From someone who actually knows." Kendra frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" I didn't answer. because for the first time since the accident I knew exactly where I needed to go, somewhere I wouldn't be gaslit for existing. Dr. Jensen's clinic always smelled faintly of eucalyptus and warm linen, nothing like the cold fluorescent sharpness of most medical offices. It was one of the few places where I didn't feel like a burden. Here I could just exist. Injured healing imperfect, but real. When I walked in, Jensen looked up immediately, noticing my posture. "You're guarding your left side. Rough night." "You could say that," I muttered. He motioned to the table. "Sit slowly." I lowered myself with a wince. He watched the way someone who actually cares does quiet, focused, without judgment. What happened? So I told him the backyard, the laughter Kendra, yanking the crutch, the concrete, the phones recording my parents doing nothing. When I finished, his expression had hardened into controlled anger. "They did what he said," voice low. "I'm fine, I tried." He gave me a look that cut straight through the lie. "Marina, you are not fine. Your spine is still stabilizing. A fall like that can set you back months." He turned to his computer, typing quickly. "We're doing scans today, and I'm documenting everything." "Why?" "Because you need proof. Medical proof. And because people who minimize your injury are dangerous." The words hit deeper than I expected. As he helped me onto the exam table, he paused. "You know we have security cameras in the main hallway?" I frowned. "Why does that matter?" "Kendra has been telling people you walk normally here," he said. "I heard it through a mutual connection. If she's spreading that lie, it's time to put the truth in front of her." My heart stuttered. "You have footage?" "Every appointment," he said. "Every limp. Every time you brace on the rail. Every wince. Do you want it?" I didn't answer immediately. Something sparked inside me, not spite, not revenge, but the need to finally be believed. "Yes," I whispered. "I want it." For the first time since the accident, I felt like I had something solid to stand on. By the next afternoon, the file arrived in my email, neatly labeled, time-stamped irrefutable. Weeks of footage, showing me walking slowly down the clinic hallway, gripping the rail, adjusting my stance, dragging my left foot on the hard days. Nothing exaggerated, nothing dramatic, just truth, frame by frame. I watched it alone in my apartment. No tears, no collapse. Just the quiet, unfamiliar feeling of finally being seen. Then the messages started. "Mom, we need to talk. Kendra is upset. Don't escalate this." "Dad, your sister is hurting too. She didn't mean it. Kendra. Stop telling people lies about me. Lies." The word hit cold and deep. Around 6 p.m., Mom invited everyone to Dad's house for a calm adult conversation. Eli drove me. "You're not walking in there alone," he said. The moment we entered the living room, it felt wrong, like a courtroom pretending to be a home. Kendra sat stiff on the couch, arms crossed, chin lifted. Mom hovered behind her. Dad stared at the muted TV. Mom began. "Sweetheart, you misinterpreted the party. Kendra didn't mean to hurt you. She was frustrated." I exhaled sharply. She pulled my crutch away. Mom brushed the air dismissively. "It wasn't malicious. You're making this bigger than it needs to be." There it was, their favorite phrase. Kendra leaned forward. "You've been acting helpless for attention. People saw you walking fine at appointments." My heartbeat steadied. "You really believe that it's what everyone thinks," she said. Eli's hand brushed my shoulder. I reached into my bag, pulled out my phone, and opened the video. I turned the screen toward them. "Then let's watch what everyone thinks I can do." Silence filled the room as the footage played my limp, my struggle, my reality, and the truth they had refused to see. For a few seconds, no one reacted. The only sound was the faint clicking from the video, my uneven steps down the clinic hallway, my hand gripping the rail, the pause when pain shot through my back. Undeniable, unedited reality. Mom's face went pale. Dad's shoulders tightened. Kendra's eyes flashed with panic before she hid it behind a scoff. "This proves nothing," she said. "You always dramatize your pain." Eli exhaled sharply. "You just watched her struggle to walk. That's your takeaway." Dad finally looked at me, voice small. "Marina, why didn't you tell us it was this bad?" I did, I said. "Every time you dismissed me. Every time you said I was strong instead of listening. Every time you changed the subject." Mom crossed her arms. "We were trying to stay positive. No one wants constant negativity." "Negativity?" I repeated. I was asking for support, not applause. Kendra jumped up. Stop acting like I'm the villain. She's been playing the victim for months. My resolve solidified. Do you want to see another clip I swiped to the next video? Me walking even slower, Jensen helping me stabilize my legs, shaking. No theatrics, no exaggeration, just truth. Mom pressed a hand to her mouth. Dad pinched the bridge of his nose. Kendra went blank like she was trying to rewrite reality fast enough to save herself. Eli said quietly, She could have been seriously hurt when you pulled her crutch. You know that, right? Kendra didn't answer because every excuse she had crumbled in the face of what she'd just seen. And something in me settled. Not triumph, not revenge, just a steady certainty. They could ignore me. They could belittle me. They could twist stories. But they couldn't erase the truth anymore. The silence after the video ended was heavier than anything I'd felt at the party. That humiliation had been loud and fast. But this silence, this was truth settling on people who had avoided it for years. Kendra cracked first. She blinked hard and muttered, Fine. Maybe you're hurt. But you've made everything about you since the accident. The words didn't cut. They simply exposed what she feared. Not my pain, but my presence. I didn't ask for this injury, I said. Or attention. Or for you to rip away the one thing helping me stand. Her jaw tightened. I was frustrated. You get sympathy. People worry about you. And I'm just ignored. There it was. Not logic. Not concern. Jealousy. Eli shifted, but I lifted a hand. I needed to finish this. You're not ignored, I said. You're just not used to sharing the spotlight. Her eyes narrowed, but the fire dimmed. Mom touched her arm. We need to calm down. This has gone far enough. No, I said quietly. It hasn't. All eyes turned to me. For months I stayed quiet to keep everyone comfortable. I downplayed my pain so I wouldn't be a burden. I accepted your silence and your dismissals. But what happened at the party wasn't a mistake. It was cruelty. And you watched. Dad opened his mouth, but I kept going. I'm not asking for apologies or for you to suddenly become the family I needed. I'm telling you this. I gestured between us, isn't healthy. And I'm not staying in it. Mom frowned. What does that mean? It means I'm stepping back for my sanity, for my healing, for the version of myself I'm rebuilding. Kendra stared. You're leaving? No, I said softly. I'm choosing myself. And for the first time in a long time, the choice felt steady, strong, mine, wrong. When I stepped out of my parents' house, the air felt different, cooler, sharper, almost cleansing. Eli walked beside me quietly, matching my pace. Every step sent a pulse up my spine, but it didn't feel like yesterday's pain. This pain had purpose. It wasn't humiliation anymore. It was recovery. Are you okay? Eli asked once we reached his car. For the first time in a long time? Yeah, I said. Over the next few days, the family group chat went silent, not from peace, but because excuses no longer fit. Mom asked if I'd join Sunday dinner. I ignored it. Dad reacted to a photo of my PT progress with a meaningless thumbs up. Kendra said nothing. But people who laughed at the party reached out privately. A neighbor apologized. A cousin said she felt ashamed for not helping. Even the woman who recorded the video messaged to say she deleted it. Not validation, but acknowledgement. Meanwhile, Dr. Jensen adjusted my therapy plan and told me something I'd never considered: emotional trauma slows physical recovery. Your body protects itself when it feels unsafe, he said. Now that you're reclaiming control, things may change. He was right. I improved slowly but clearly. My steps steadier, my posture stronger, my voice more certain. I started writing anonymously in an online disability community. People resonated, shared their stories, thanked me for speaking up. For the first time, I felt understood by people who actually saw me. And that's when I realized I didn't need my family to believe me. I needed me to believe me. And I finally did. When Kendra ripped my crutch away, she thought she was proving I was weak. But all she did was reveal the truth. I may fall. I may break. But I will always get back up, even if I have to do it alone.